What's going on? What's going on? What's going on, y'all? What's going on, y'all? What's going on? What's going on? Won't y'all throw up a one? Throw up a one when you get in here. Throw up a one when you get in here. Today I'm going to be talking about some things that I'm pretty passionate about. I'm going to be talking about some things that I'm pretty passionate about. And while I'm talking about this, if I happen to get emotional, it's okay. I want y'all to remember, men cry. Men do cry. Even the toughest. And it's okay. It's okay for men to cry. Normally, I would record this video and edit this video, but today I want to just express myself. I want to express myself. I know a lot of people talking about Kendrick in the game, and I will touch on that probably tomorrow or another day. But today I want to speak from my heart. I want to speak on something that I'm passionate about, that I'm very, very passionate about. And when I'm passionate about something, I can get emotional. For a man to be emotional, that don't mean that the man is weak or soft, anything like that. A man can be emotional and can be the toughest man that exists. And I want to say that I may not be the toughest person that exists. When y'all get in here, throw up the one. Throw up the one when y'all get in here. I might not be the toughest person that exists, but I'm pretty tough. I'm pretty tough. I'm pretty tough. I grew up in Chicago in the projects. I lived in a couple projects in Chicago, the roughest projects in Chicago, the Village and the Rockwell Gardens. And I wasn't a houseboy. I didn't stay in a house in neither of the projects that I lived in. I was outside. I ran with some of the hoodlums, the thugs, the game bangers. But I was also smart. I was also my own person. I was my own man. I didn't allow myself to be manipulated, or I didn't allow myself to be highly influenced by our gang chiefs. And our gang chiefs, they emulated what the Italian mafia. Growing up in Chicago, Al Capone. That's where Chicago get this gangster persona from. That's why everybody, when you mention Chicago, they get gangster. Gangster come to them. So speaking on that, that's where I'm going to talk about. That's where I'm going to touch bases at on some of the political issues that we're dealing with today. And we're going to be going back and forth, looking at some things that Bernie Sanders is saying. We're going to go on some protesters and Roland Martin. I'm going to touch on those three things. Something that Bernie Sanders is talking about, something that took place with some neo-Nazis, and Roland Martin. And I may get real emotional because it has something to do with people, especially people that look like me. So let's dive right on in. And I want to say I thank y'all for tuning in. I thank y'all for checking out my video. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Subscribe to my channel. Make sure you turn on the bell, the notification bell, so you can get notified whenever I do decide to go live, or whenever I drop a video, you'll be notified. And hit the like button, and I thank you. But let's dive on in. Let's see what Bernie Sanders is talking about right quick.
Mr. President, today we find ourselves in a pivotal moment in American history. And millions of Americans, by their actions or lack of action, will determine the future of our country for decades. In my view, the Trump administration is moving this country very aggressively into an oligarchic form of society where extraordinary
Give
power
me 1 second.
rests in the hands of a small number, is moving this country very aggressively by their actions or lack of action will determine the future of our country
I'm
for
going to
decades.
take it back, y'all.
In my view, the Trump administration is moving.
And as he talk, I'll jump in a little bit. As he talk, I'll jump in.
And millions of Americans, by their actions or lack of action, will determine the future of our country for decades.
Pay attention. He said millions of Americans, by our actions or lack of actions, will determine the future of America. Not only America, of the world. Being comfortable is where we're at. I think people love comfortability because when you're comfortable, you don't have to do much. Things kind of just flow for you. It just operate perfect for you. But that's a bad place to be. The lack of action. Remember the lack of action, because I'm going to come back to that point. The lack of action. Let's finish.
In my view, the Trump administration is moving this country very aggressively into an oligarchic form of society where extraordinary power rests in the hands of a small number of unelected multi-billionaires.
Let's look at what that means. Let's check out what that means. It says a small group of people having control of a country, organization, or institute. This is why being comfortable is not a good thing. This is why being comfortable is not a good thing. Because when you're comfortable, a lot of the times it's too late. Do you hear me? It's too late to get out of the situation or to change the situation. We've been too comfortable for far too long. As human beings, we've allowed some of the elementary games to be played on society. The first game that has been played on society is division. Divide and conquer. And that's where we find ourselves today, arguing over such small differences that we have as people. and not paying attention to how much we are alike, how many similarities we have as people, regardless of where you're from, whether it's a different country or right here in a different state, a city, a town. We find the most minute things to argue about or to separate and divide us, while the puppet masters pull their strings and systematically control us. They pacify us with iPhones, gadgets, things that woe us, entertainment, celebrities. They pacify us with that and put us right back to being comfortable. And if you paid attention yesterday, I'm going to touch on Kendrick right now. If you paid attention to Kendrick, when Samuel L. Jackson told him that you're getting loud, you're getting too ghetto, Kendrick he was showing us and reflecting how we are as a people, how when white America tells us that we're too ghetto or too loud or that we're standing up for a cause, that now we need to sit down and be humble. And as you know, he was walking counterclockwise. So now we're going to sit down and be humble again and continue to let ourselves be pushed back in time, further in time. So the steps that we think that we move or our ancestors fought for us to move forward, we take 10 steps back. So ultimately, we really not moving nowhere. Let's see the next point Bernie Sanders make. Okay? Let's look at the next point Bernie Sanders make.
The Trump administration is moving this country very aggressively into an authoritarian society where the rule of law and our Constitution are being ignored and undermined in order to give more power to the White House and the billionaires who now control our government.
Okay. Let's check out the meaning of authoritarian. It says authoritarianism is characterized by high, concentrated, and centralized government power, maintained by political repression and the exclusion of potential or supposed challengers by armed forces. Pay attention. Pay attention to that. Authoritarianism is characterized by high, concentrated, and centralized government power maintained by political repression and the exclusion of potential or supposed challengers by armed forces. If That's not what we're hearing from Trump or the actions that's being taken by Trump. We are either blind or deaf. We are either blind or deaf if that's not what we're seeing. Once again, being comfortable and complacent is the wrong step. It's the worst thing that we can do as people is get comfortable and sit comfortable. It's the worst thing we can do as people because we will find ourselves in a place where we're wondering how in the hell we got here. How in the hell we got here. And we don't want to get in that place. That's a dark place. That's a dark place. That's a place of suffering. And we don't want to get there. We don't want to find ourselves there. So whatever it takes to kick yourself in the behind, to start building up the courage to do something other than sitting back just talking about it, please, let's come together as a whole. As a whole, we must come together and get ourselves up out of this hole. We have to get ourselves up out of this dark place. Let's go back to Bernie Sanders. Let's check out this.
The Trump administration is moving this country very rapidly toward a kleptocracy, where the function of government is not to serve the needs of ordinary people, but to enrich those who are in power. Mr. President, a kleptocracy, where the function of government is undermined in order to give more power to the White House and the billionaires who now control our government.
Check it out.
The Trump administration is moving this country very rapidly toward a kleptocracy, where the function of government is not to serve the needs of ordinary people, but to enrich those who are in power.
All right.
Mr. President,
Let's
I think
check out kleptocracy. All right. I'm going to read this. Kleptocracy, a society or system ruled by people who use their power to steal their country's resources. I'm going to read this again, and I should have had this ready to pull up because I can show you better than I can tell you. A society or a system ruled by people who use their power to steal their country's resources. All right. Now, check this out. If any one of you watched the inauguration of Donald Trump, what did Donald Trump say during that inauguration? He specifically said, it's time to drill, baby, drill. These are Donald Trump's words. Drill, baby, drill. if y'all don't see what's going on, we gonna F around and find out. We will F around and find out, not just by Donald Trump, but if you think you can use Earth the way you want to use Earth, use and abuse Earth the way you want, Earth will show you. You will fuck around and find out. You will. It has happened not once, not twice, but many times throughout civilization. Earth made those that was in existence fuck around and find out. So, with that being said, as people who have more power than we can possibly believe, we need to start standing for something because we've been falling for anything. We need to use the power that we have to start standing up for things that we know deep in our gut, deep in our souls, we know it's wrong. We know when we're being misused. We know when we're being played to play against each other. But we sit back like fools and allow this foolery to take place. And we sit back and say, the government, where are the Democrats? Why the government doing this? If you think for 1 minute that the people that, whether they have money or what, I don't give a damn about their money. I don't care about their money. The money ain't, it's a piece of paper, y'all. The money was created by a system, y'all. How do people forget that if you had all the money in the world, how do you forget that without you or someone else doing the work, the money is useless, the money is dead, the money ain't nothing. The power is in people. But somehow we've been manipulated, confused to allow a system that has been put in place. It's not original, but that has been put in place to give power to a certain group of people. And we let that happen. We sat back and let that happen. How? How do we let that happen? Please, let's wake up. Let's wake up. Let me show y'all something else real quick. Let me show y'all something.
And I'm Paula Todi. We are following breaking news. Neo-Nazis bring their message to a busy spot along I-75.
Yeah, demonstrators and a banner were both spotted on an overpass.
I want to know why this ain't been placed on the news.
Village of Lincoln Heights. There was a swift
why this is not being placed on the news.
Paige Barn has been in that area this afternoon and joins us now live with the latest. Paige.
Yeah, hey guys, the protesters have since cleared out, as well as the counter protests. Just before 3, right behind me on this overpass, as you mentioned, there were about 13 people who were dressed in black, waving a white supremacist flag, and some of them had swastikas, as well as carrying rifles on them. Now, shortly after, a counter protest of Lincoln Heights residents say they chased the protesters away, took the flag from the bridge, and burned it. Hamilton County Sheriff's deputies tried to disperse the residents, but they made their way to a Jeep they believed belonged to one of the white supremacists. They slashed the tires and the windows were punched out. Now, as a historically black neighborhood, residents add they will not allow hate to come in.
That's what Lincoln Heights.
This is taking place in a historically, pay attention, this is taking place in a historically black community. People, if y'all don't see what's going on, y'all got to be stupid. If y'all don't see or recognize what's going on, y'all have to be stupid. This is happening so that people that look like the man y'all see right here on the screen to act an ass. To act an ass. This government that we're allowed to be in office is trying their best to inflict the martial law. And they're waiting on us to get out of hand, to act violent, to act rudely, so they can magnify this to the whole world, to say that you see them, you see how they are, and they want to inflict the martial law. So I want to say to all my young millennials, to all the Generation X, whoever you are, whatever generation you are, please, please, I want to say, like Kendrick say, be humble, sit down. But honestly, sometimes you have to stand. You have to stand. And if we're right, if we are right, even as we stand, we will be protected. Even if that's Trump's plan, which I can see that's being his plan, we will still be okay. In order for change to take place, like I said, I won't change it. There has to be bloodshed. There has to be something real catastrophic to take place to see the change that is necessary. We're not going to see this change by sitting down, being humble. What's going to happen if we continue to sit down and be humble? We're going to find ourselves living in a dark time where we think we were enslaved and imprisoned. It's going to be a lot worse. So I tell you, it's time to take a stand. It's time to stand for what you truly believe in. For those who don't even know what they believe in, I advise you to go sit down, go meditate, go listen. Forget the praying now. This ain't a time to be mumbling words, because you can't hear that still small voice that rests in your spirit. You can't hear that voice that gives you guidance, that tells you which way to go. You can't hear that voice. We are living in a time where darkness will take over the earth if we don't stand up for what's right in here. So please, I ask, go sit for a while and just meditate and listen. I'm 100% sure if you do this, you will hear that voice that you need to hear that tells you what and how and where to move. You will hear that voice that tells you, that guides you and gives you direction on how to move, how to operate. But we can't just sit back. Don't operate foolishly. if you understand. Don't operate and move just foolishly. Go meditate first. Go listen first. And then when you operate, you won't operate out of fear. But we can't just sit back. But we also can't just move recklessly. We can't move recklessly because that's not going to lead us nowhere. So people, I ask, please meditate. Please listen to the wisdom inside of you. Please. That's what we need to do. We have kids. If you think that they care about your kids, you're highly mistaken. We got into the situation, we got into this place that we are in right now. We got into this place by what they did to our kids in front of our eyes. That is how we got where we are today, by fear. Seeing the mutilation of our kids, of our spouses. That's how we got here today. So trust me, they don't give a flying crap about your kids, your spouse. They will use your kids and your spouse, your wife, whoever, your partner, to set an example. That's what absolute power wants to do. That's what absolute power wants to do. We have to get uncomfortable. We've been comfortable for too long. And all we have to do is look at these third world countries, these smaller countries, and look how they've been uncomfortable for a long time. These people have not rested for a long time. Think about how long they've been fighting. Do you think that they're fighting for something that don't have no value? These people are fighting for who they are, for their culture trying to be stolen away, who they are as a people, for their nationality being stolen away. Okay? I want to say this as well. If you look at the Constitution and look at what treason and the punishment of treason, what's the punishment of treason? And we allowed a man that has committed treason. Look it up, what treason is. Not once, but even by his family committing treason against their own country where they come from, Germany. And we allow this man to control our country. Are y'all following me? Please, I ask, are y'all following me? And this is his people right here that we're looking at right here. Check it out.
You know, you hear a lot of things, but we're a community at heart, and a proud historical African American community. So things of that nature, symbols of that nature, don't stand here. You know, it said, you know, that's a symbol of hate. We're a community of pride and love.
He say that's a symbol of hate. That's a community of pride and love. We are loving people. We are very loving people. And sometimes we allow our hearts to get the best of us. We allow our hearts trying to be too loving get the best of us. But these people that you're looking at, remember I did the video on where Trump come from. When I say Germany, that's where his dad come from. That's where his grandfather come from. And if you look right here, that's
in the historically black
what we're
village
looking
of
at.
Lincoln Heights, there was a swift response overpass.
On I-75.
That's
Yeah,
what we're
demonstrators and a banner were both spotted.
To a busy spot along I-75.
Are y'all paying attention? Let me make that bigger. Let me make that bigger. Are y'all paying attention? Look at that. This is what Trump father, his grandfather, they committed treason against their own country. Then he came over here and committed treason against this country. But we allowed this man, just a man like us, just a man like us, to come and commit treason against this country as well. It's in the blood. It's in the blood. Go do your research, y'all. Let's start standing up. Let's stop being fucking afraid. Like, for real, let's stop being fucking afraid. I'm sorry, but we ain't getting nowhere being afraid. We're not getting anywhere being afraid. Please, I'm asking y'all, we will stand together or we will die and perish. Our kids will die and perish if we don't start standing for something. We have to stand for something. We have to. I want to show y'all one more thing real quick. This is Roland Martin. Okay? Peep this. Peep this.
Funder of Breitbart. This election, you had Charlie Kirk, the CEO of Turning Point USA, who was organizing and galvanizing young white folks on college campuses all across the country, especially young white men. This is what Charlie Kirk said about the 1964 Civil Rights Act.
Be clear, created a beast, and that beast has now turned into an anti-white weapon.
Yeah, and that's the reality. And so we just need to fundamentally relook at a lot of our civil rights legal regime. And without that, even though I don't think it's sort of the magic bullet, but I think without that, there's limits to the amount of progress we're going to make.
Let's talk about discourse and dialogue. This topic would have been even more forbidden 4 or 5 years ago, but it's now becoming in more and more mainstream circles. Is that because the problem is becoming worse, or but our side is more courageous to confront it?
Our side is more courageous to confront it. Our side. Please pay attention. I'm asking, please pay attention. Do y'all see what's going on? Do y'all see what's going on? We are living in some dark times. We are so divided as a people, as a whole. And if we keep sitting back once again, we will be wiped off the face of this earth. If we keep sitting back, once again, we will be wiped off the face of this earth as a people. We have to stand up. We got into this situation by sitting back, by being too nice, by allowing people to come and settle on a bank of the Nile River. And these people pushed us back, figured out a way to intrude into our spirits, into our hearts, and switch the whole game on us. We must come together as people. As people. I understand what we have gotten used to. I understand our comfortability, but comfortability is the worst place that we can possibly be in. Being comfortable is the worst place that we can possibly be in, especially in today's world. Let's finish. I want y'all to hear this.
Did y'all hear that? We couldn't talk about this 4 or 5 years ago, but now we can. That's a person.
If y'all noticed, Karen started when Trump first got in office. Karen and Ken started when Trump first got in office. I've experienced it already twice. I've experienced it twice already since he's been in office. The Karens and the Kens. Every time. Now they feel that they can just do this and do that. Pay attention.
Literally has the ear of the person sitting in the Oval Office. We do not understand that the executive orders that have been issued this week, the attacks on affirmative action in colleges and admissions, they are getting rid of programs, scholarship programs. They're getting rid of internship programs. They're getting rid of access. What this is about is the complete attack. And this is the goal of exactly what they did in 1877. This is no different than when the white racists in Mississippi convened the Constitutional Convention in 1890. And they said, we cannot let these niggas keep voting. Oh, I know, I'm sorry. Supreme Court Justice John Roberts, he doesn't use that language, but it's essentially what they did when they gutted Section 4 of the Voting Rights Act. The attacks on Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act. Do understand, right now, you have at least 4 Supreme Court justices who would love to completely get rid of the 1964 Civil Rights Act. And why this is important is because the 1964 Civil Rights Act is the enforcement mechanism that has led to all of these changes for Black America since that period. So what they understand, if we assault the 1964 Civil Rights Act and get rid of that, and then we completely get rid of the 1965 Voting Rights Act, what we have effectively done is gutted Black leadership and African Americans from being able to take advantage of what happens in this country.
But we sit back and we not gonna do nothing but allow it to happen. We sit back and we're not gonna do nothing but allow it to happen. We sit back, we talking about where's the Democrats? Where's the politicians? What are we looking for in these people? What are we looking for? We've been so mentally manipulated by thinking that we have a savior coming to save us, that we look for a savior in the politics. We look for the Democrats to come and save us. Everything that has been socially engineered was designed for a reason. Everything that has been socially engineered has been designed for a reason. Because when you really think about it, isn't that what we see when we sit back and say, where's the Democrats? What, these politicians just gonna let Trump do this? They just gonna let Trump do this? Where are we? Where are we? If you take Donald Trump and his billionaires, whether it's 10,000 people, how many millions of people are here just in America? How many millions? Over 100 and some million. I believe it's 170 some million, if I'm not mistaken, probably more than that. That's here in America. And we're worried about 10,000 people. We're worried about 10,000 people. And we're looking, they have us so dumbed down, so foolish, that we're looking for a savior. We're looking for a savior in the politicians to do something about what Trump is doing. That's the difference between people in Palestine, people in Jerusalem. That's the difference. They're rooted in the land. They're rooted in the land. They still have a connection, and we don't have a connection. We don't have a connection. So we allow whatever to take place, and we don't do a damn thing. We don't do a damn thing but sit back and look for a savior to help us. A savior to fix what Donald Trump is doing. I want to go so deep with this. If we gave all of their money that they created back, when I say we, I'm not talking about just black people. I'm talking about all people that's been put up under this psychological, misleading, socially engineered program. We were doing just perfect without their money, without their system. Because now people was able to follow what their heart, their passion, their talents, their gifts, and we were able to know our value. No one was more valuable than the other. That's why they say there's no big I's and little U's. Just because you are a carpenter and you are an engineer or you are a daycare provider, no one's gift was bigger than the next. Because all of it works together to keep the machine going. But it was natural. It was natural. Do y'all feel me? It was natural. If everyone gave them their dollar back, if everyone just them, let the billionaires, let the millionaires, everybody that's following this system, if we let them have their system and we stood together as people, there would be a revolution so big. There will be a revolution so big that they wouldn't know what to do with themselves. They will commit suicide because their money have no more power over us. Their money have no more control over us. Now we'll have a system where people are not even in control, but people are operating from a place of righteousness, of love, natural gifts. You wouldn't have people working in daycares or working with elders abusing the kids or abusing the elders. You wouldn't have that. Why you wouldn't have that? Because only the people that love the babies, that love the kids, that love the elders will go into that field and just give their services. Because it's no more about the fucking dollar. It's not about the dollar. It's about doing what you completely love. People that like architect, the people that like to build, they can just build freely. They can just build freely. People that like to do agriculture, people that like to grow food, what they can do, they will just grow food because they have no worries. Now we will live longer because we don't have the stress. And I know I'm going where people probably can't even see, but it once was. Do y'all hear me? It once was a time where this is how we lived. It was a time that this is how the world operated. Helping hands. And it was beautiful. It was peaceful. How do I know? Because I have a natural connection to the universe. I have a natural connection to the universe. I can go plant myself into the universe and meditate and listen, and I can see all truth. I'm no better than you, but you can do it too. But they have us so disconnected. They have us so disconnected as people. We have to get back connected to the roots. All people. We have to get connected to the roots. We have to, because they will keep us divided and controlled, continuing to use a piece of paper that have no value but the value that they gave it. But the value that they gave it, it's the game. It's the game that we continue to play. We have to say, you know what? Keep your game. We don't want to play your game no more. We don't want to play that game no more. That's where we have to get as people. We have to give them their game back. We have to give them their game back. We're playing a game that everybody loses in, but them. They've been playing this game through their people and their ancestors for hundreds of years, and we, through fear, being comfortable, pacifying us, allowed them to keep playing their game. I hope y'all can just sit back, go meditate, go search your souls, search your spirits, go somewhere. If y'all don't live where it's mountains, or go to the beach, plant your feet in the sand, go to the ocean, put your feet in the water, and just meditate, connect. If it don't work the first time, do it again, because you may be too infused with the foolery, and it may not work the first time. And you have to keep on, just like any sickness. The sickness just don't evaporate and leave your body, leave your system in one day. The sickness is over a period of time. leave your body when you start doing what's necessary, what's right. And I'm not talking about their medicine, which was created because they know they was giving us a sickness. But imagine if everyone had no worry, a worry to have to go out and work for their dollar, worrying about your bill, worrying about some food to eat. The universe gonna give it to us. We gonna use our hands, our skill, our natural ability to do everything that we need to do for everyone else. And everyone else is gonna do everything they need to do for everyone else. Who can't, you may can't see this far. You probably can't see this far. And I understand it. I understand it because we got too comfortable. I've never been comfortable. My soul never rests because I always knew that something ain't right about the way we operate as people. I always knew something wasn't right about the way we operate as people. So, what do? I'm telling you what to do. Go first, connect to the universe. Go connect. Please go connect to the universe. Go find somewhere that's untouched by humans. When I say untouched, I mean humans didn't build on top of it. Wasn't no cement planted on top of it because you can't get a good ground. You cannot get a good ground when you're trying to connect to something that's unnatural. You have to go up in a mountain. You have to go to the beach, to the water, and plant yourself. And plant yourself. And listen. And listen. And that's what has to be done. That's what has to be done in order for us, maybe even in our time, but definitely in Generation X time, to see darkness. To see darkness. It's not a time to go mumbling words, y'all. It's not, because you can't hear. You can't hear your instruction. You have to hear your instruction, your guidance, your wisdom. All of us have wisdom, but we so clouded by what we've been given through these lenses. We're so guided. And damn near everything we've been taught been wrong. Everything we've been taught, almost everything we've been taught as people, been wrong. Look around. Look around. Look around. You see certain families that control countries. Why is that? Why can they go build on earth property for their families and go take control over certain lands for their families? Why? And we sit like it's okay. It's not okay. It's not okay. But why do we sit back? Why are we so comfortable? Why do we think their dollar means everything? Why? You mean everything. You have power. You are in control. But we have to stand and don't be afraid of the unknown. Don't we hear that stress kills? Worrying is stress. Worrying causes stress. And we wonder why so many people dropping dead from cancer, from all of these illnesses. Because we're living in such an unnatural society. We're living in a so unnatural society, and we're wondering why our bodies are so at ease. Why are we dying so early? Why? Why, people? Because they create situations. They create this living condition so that we can die at an early age, so that they can control us, so that our minds don't think properly. So we're not eating natural foods that's free. I said that's free. Food don't cost a dime. Not the foods we need. We like what they gave us. They made us like what they gave us over a period of time. And they created their history. They created their history. And now they're putting satellites all around the universe to do what? To record their history. To be imitation stars that you have natural access to. You have natural access to the stars and the planets. That's why you have to plant yourself and go listen. Please hear me. I know this may sound a bit far-fetched for a lot of you that's listening to this, but this ain't far-fetched. It's right in you. We're watching them create a new history and record everything so that the generations to come, if we allow this to keep taking place, the generations to come is going to believe the history that they created, and the real history going to be wiped away by a computer that we allowed to become damn near us. Damn near us. Please, y'all, I'm begging y'all, please, wake the hell up. Wake the hell up. You have to. Let's give their money back. We don't need it. We don't need their money. We don't need their money. We don't even have to create another system of our own money. Trust me. Don't be afraid of the unknown. Don't be afraid. Trust me. I know I can sound crazy to some of y'all because y'all so brainwashed and manipulated by what they gave us. Only thing we can buy with their money is everything that's unnatural, that does harm to us. That's the only thing we can buy with their money. We don't need it. We don't need it. I promise. We don't need it. Let's give it back. Let's give it back. Please, listen to me, family. Listen to me. Let's stand up. Let's change what has been created to be our norm. This ain't our norm. This ain't normal. Ain't nothing normal about this. Ain't nothing normal about it. Man, listen, man, I have to get ready to go do some work. But I want to say, I'm going to be touching a lot more on this. I'm going to be just speaking from within. And I hope it can resonate with some people. And all it wants. But those that do get the message, it don't take a lot. Our voices have power. Our voices have power. And we have to stand. We have to stand and use our voices. We have to. And we have to also remember, plant yourself. Plant your feet. Go somewhere where it's natural ground, the water, the ocean, not a man-made lake. Go to the ocean somewhere. Go to a lake that's natural. Put your feet in the sand. Go to the mountain. Go to the desert. Put your feet in the sand, somewhere that man ain't take away your ground, your roots, and plant yourself and listen. Don't talk too much, just listen so you can get guidance. So you can get guidance. I thank y'all. Please share this video. Share this video. Trust me, what I'm saying to y'all, it holds weight. It holds weight. Subscribe to my channel. I'm going to be coming like this a little bit more because I can't sit back no more when I know truth. I can't sit back. I know truth too much. I love y'all. Love yourselves. Realize the power ain't in a dollar. You have power. I have power. Let's not allow the divide and conquer tactic to continue to be used against us. We have more similarities than we have differences. And the similarities that really matter, we have all of that together. We have all of that together. There's no difference from us as people. The fact that you and I can create life together, that should tell us that we're not that different. We're not different. Because if our chromosomes was off just a little bit, we couldn't create life together. We are powerful. Please remember that. Don't allow the divide and conquer tactic to continue to be pulled on us. Everything that we're taught, look at who we're taught it by. Look at the system that teaches us. We have to give their system back. We have to give their system back. We have to. Y'all be great. I'll be back. I'll touch bases with y'all. I'll see y'all Wednesday on Storytime Wednesdays. I'll see y'all Wednesday on Storytime Wednesdays. I thank y'all. I love y'all. But more importantly, let's love ourselves. Let's use our voices. Peace.